Hello, everyone. Thank you all for coming. 5 more nights of Dharma talks. The end is near. As I was preparing for the lecture tonight, I was thinking, looking at the situation, and first of all, I'm very grateful that many of you are taking it to heart and working very hard to help out with the pandemic process. It seems to have produced some results, good results, and so I'm very pleased about that. So in a way, I believe we're making a small difference. However, there are a lot of people who think that we are BSing and grandstanding, making false claims. It doesn't matter what people believe or not. I'm asking you. There are some people who say that, aren't we wasting time? Shouldn't we be making money? And isn't that more productive? So I thought about the fact that are we making money? Are we contributing to our cause? Are we increasing wealth or not? What do you think? In our modern times, doesn't it all boil down to money? Huh? Yes, go ahead.
We increase our blessings, which is more important than wealth.
More important than wealth. Okay. Here's what's happening. You look at the state of the world, okay? Our government, the US government, puts out rewards on the catching and even on the killing of certain very bad individuals. You could call them evil individuals because they seem to bent upon inflicting damages and destruction to the world, right? So what we have in this country is the FBI wanted list, and that so the FBI puts out a list of individuals they deem that worth a lot more dead than alive. For example, Bin Laden, the last one I was aware of, is like worth how much? 25 million, no? Something like that? Anyone remembers? So long ago? Okay, anyway, so the wanted individuals were worth more dead than alive, okay, or either way. Okay, so one can make money like in the Old West by becoming a bounty hunter. Yes? What about unfortunately, what the FBI doesn't have is a list of this kind of list: help wanted. Okay, and put a reward on the help with the coronavirus. Why didn't people do that? Huh? Because, think about it, it's just the opposite. People are worth a lot more alive than dead. No? If you keep them alive, they work and they make money, they contribute to society, must be worth something to society. to all of us, right? So that's precisely my point. And the point here is that your little efforts, our little efforts, if it is true that we can help these people, keep some people alive, and then they can contribute to society, it must be worth something for our efforts. And that's exactly what Altadi said earlier. We increasing our blessings with the corresponding amount of contribution in this effort. Does it make sense? So if you save one, that you get some reward blessings, and you help 10, you get 10 times the amount. You help 100, you get 100 times the amount. And that is your true wealth right there. That's yours. That no one can take it from you. This money here that you get from the FBI, should you help capture or kill these individuals, okay, can be stolen from you. Okay? They can con you out of this money and this reward money. But the blessings, no one can touch it but you. Okay? So, in a way, we are contributing to society by sustaining the production, the contribution of these individuals who would otherwise have died from this COVID-19. Okay? Make sense or not? Questions, comments? So it boils down to, yes, we're making money for society, whether you believe it or not. Okay, people might say it's BS. We're full of crap. But if it were true, then we are actually increasing our blessings. We are contributing to society, aren't we? Yes.
I know that the week's not over, and we're still working to cultivate to help the people with the pandemic. But after this week, are we going to still be able to help?
Well, it depends on whether there's a wanted for help list or not. So I can't commit to anything beyond this week. Okay, you can be talked into it. It's rather time consuming that we meddle. I don't like to meddle, as you know. It's none of our business. We're meddling in the natural workings of cause and effect. The pandemic is because it's a result of some prior causes. We're meddling into it. And I did it because of compassion, to teach you about compassion. We should have done it last year. We didn't, because conditions weren't ready for us to wade into this mess. But now I'm using this opportunity to demonstrate to you, those of you who understand this process, that your cultivation actually can result in very positive contributions to society, a lot more than you think. Okay? Yeah. So that's the point I'm trying to make. I'm not here to try to say, COVID demon, I flip my finger to you, okay? And I'm going to prove to you that you are nothing in our world. That's too heavy-handed. That's not what we're trying to do. I'm trying to demonstrate to you that we can make a difference with our cultivation in so many ways. Okay? For example, there is a snowstorm in the northeast. Okay, going back, let me just as a reminder, if we were to engage early, this would now this pandemic would have been a lot smaller. It wouldn't even have happened. Okay, you can save the world billions of dollars and much more in sufferings that could have been spared. Same thing in the snowstorm right now in Northeast. Okay, if we had, if we wanted, we could have mitigated the effects of the snowstorm. Okay, so in other words, we could save the state of New York a lot of money if they bought me a temple. Oh, I asked for a $50 million temple, and then I spare them with a snowstorm, the blizzard. How's that? Each time it happens, you know how much it costs the economy of New York? Billions of dollars each day. There is small price to pay. So, all right. So after this, I'm not sure that we should continue because that's really being heavy-handed. Okay. Hopefully the past 3 weeks, our small efforts have had some small consequences where lives were saved, number of lives were saved, and they got some relief. The scientists and medical people got some relief. Okay, that's our small ways of contributing. Okay, after this, I would like to do this. After this week, I would like to continue to protect California and New York. California because that's where we are, and New York because where we'd like to be within 10 years. Okay? And of course, Korea. Wherever we have our way places, we'll protect them. Questions, comments? Okay, good. I was afraid someone would say, Master, you're full of it. Continue. Okay, here we are. Here's I took a quick glance of what we're going to go over tonight, and let me go back to give you put you in the proper context. Master YongHua says in his Chan Qi instructional talks, he says, if you don't have samadhi, you cannot become enlightened. You see, fundamentally, we teach you Chan meditation, we teach you meditation in order for you to become enlightened. That's a very simple goal in meditation. Chan is for that very simple purpose. Okay, you develop samadhi, you increase samadhi, and as you increase it, eventually you will become enlightened. Okay, as I explained earlier in one of those nights last week, as your samadhi increases, your wisdom naturally unfolds. You don't need to do anything. So your seeds will mature as you enter samadhi. More and more of them will mature. That's how you eventually become enlightened. Okay, and so when you reach a certain level of samadhi, okay, when you enter that samadhi, you will become enlightened. Enlightened meaning that you have the prajna wisdom. Enlightened is a state of wisdom. So far, so good. And therefore, if you're not willing to develop samadhi, you cannot become a Buddha. That simple. Okay? So therefore, to practice to develop this samadhi power, okay, first you need to practice endurance. This is the Chan secret. And he said in very, very simple terms, you need to practice endurance. Okay? And amazingly, the great Master YongHua put it in a very simple, in two sentences like this. This is incredibly insightful. Only a person who can train people, who have trained people to, through Chan training, become enlightened, could say this. They know how to do it. He said, okay, he has a track record of helping us, my generation, develop samadhi, and many of us became enlightened. Right? And how did we develop the samadhi power? By practicing endurance. He's simply stating, reaffirming what he did. These are facts, not theory. This has been done time and time again. This is Weiyang training. We could call it Weiyang training because before this, before he came along in this country, there's no such a thing. Okay? Before he came along, there was no systematic way of training people to become enlightened. In the West. Same thing could be said in Korea. There's no systematic way of training people in Korea to become enlightened. That's why we're bringing Weiyang training to Korea, and time will tell. I challenge you Koreans to become enlightened through this training. So far, so good? That's where we left off. Go ahead.
修禅定的功夫，首先要修这个忍。
To practice this samadhi power, first one needs to practice endurance. 忍所不能忍，一般人忍不了的，你能忍。 Endure what others cannot endure. What ordinary people cannot endure, you can endure.
一般人做不到的，你能做。一般人所不能修行的这种横，你能修行。
What ordinary people cannot do, you can do.
Stop. Joe Mountain has a question.
So this question is from Zed Sanim. Do we need blessings to enter samadhi, or do we enter samadhi to create blessings, or are both of them true?
From who?
From
Say
Zed
that.
Sanim.
Go say the name again. Pronounce the name again.
Zed Sanim.
Zet Sunim. Do we know this Zet Sunim? Not only does he have to learn Chinese and improve his Chinese pronunciation, the Korean also needs work as well. It's not easy being a moderator because all these names are so just too much. Who is this Sunim here? Z? Oh, Z, not Z. Work on your Canadian English as well, please. Okay, so it's similar to the saying here, it takes money to make money. It takes blessings to enter Samadhi to make more blessings. Continue.
Xiu 这禅定这一法，要离开人相、我相、男相、女相。
To practice the Dharma of Samadhi, one needs to get rid of the mark of others, the mark of self, the mark of man, the mark of woman.
Okay, so he's talking about a Mahayana concept that the Hinayana does not have. The Hinayana teachings mention this superficially, but in Mahayana there's a concept of a mark that you need to understand. And if you have wisdom, then after you become enlightened, this concept of mark will become clearer to you. Okay? But for now, it's very important for you to understand this concept of a mark. The mark are things that can be observed. YouTube question.
And Ninja Checkmate asks, Master, how do people like Warren Buffett, Tiger Woods, and Albert Einstein have levels of samadhi without learning Chan?
Chan is the premier system of developing samadhi. Okay, Chan is a set of, I would say, most advanced techniques, training techniques to help people develop samadhis. Anyone who goes through this training, whether you are short or tall, young or old, stupid or smart, it doesn't matter. You can be very stupid, you still can make it. Because these training techniques can handle a wide range of people. Okay? So it's systematic. There's a way to develop it. Okay? And the various schools in China, in particular our school, the two schools I know a little bit more about are the Linji School and Weiyang School. They contain really ingenious, especially Weiyang's techniques are so ingenious that you can't even realize you're being taught. In Linji, for example, Linji is famous for the coarse words, the harsh words, the beating, the scolding, and the yelling and the kicking, the physical abuse and mental abuse. Yes? So it has a mark, right? A mark of harsh words, a mark of brutality, a mark of violence, right? So therefore, it's still limited. Wei Yang has no mark. That's why I keep on telling you, in Wei Yang, you cannot tell you're being trained. No. Okay? Whereas you go to Linji school, you until someone yells at you, you know you're not being trained. You're not being taught. Right? In Wei Yang, you're being taught and you just don't know. You don't even realize it. That's why it's so much more advanced. Yeah. So far so good. So how come these people, the Buffetts and the Tiger Woods and those people, they can have Samadhi power? They have a Samadhi power through the prior blessings. So these people were at that level before in a prior life. So coming back to this again, to this world again, is they, because of their prior blessings, they will naturally reach those levels without having to go to a formal training process, if you will. Okay? It's a lot more involved. I don't care to go into the details for you. Okay? Again, Wei Yang, we understand that. Okay? But the difference is that they will naturally reach those levels and that's it. They cannot go any further. Whereas Wei Yang training is that, first of all, you reach those levels a lot quicker, much, much quicker than without the training. Okay? And once you get that level, you can go beyond that level as well. That's the difference. So that's why after I listened to Master Hsuan Hua's teachings, I couldn't understand it, but because no one could explain those teachings to me, unlike I open my mouth and explain them to you right now. You know, see those two sentences are very Wei Yang that I mentioned earlier. It's very Wei Yang. It's right there, encapsulates the essence of Wei Yang training right there, and a track record that he has demonstrated over 50 years here in this country. Okay? But 30 years here, 40 years in this country. So when I was practicing, I couldn't understand to that level of details. But as I went to the other school, the other temples, and went to the other famous teachers, or read the famous teachers' teachings, I realized that they didn't have. Their teaching were more like sutra-oriented, theory-oriented. Master Hsuan Hua is more hands-on. Okay, hands-on, more like do this, do that. And the other teachers about the Buddha nature, practicing wisdom, the giving paramita, the metta, and so forth. Okay, though they dwell more on theories because they have not walked through it themselves. So the talk is easier. Whereas the walk, if you talk about walking, you have to describe the details through your experience. Okay? So that's a difference I realized over the years. People talk and talk and talk and talk. But when you ask them a question about, my legs hurt so much, what can I do? And I said, unbuckle. It's okay. What's a hurry? Don't hurt yourself. Don't you dare. Unbuckle. Cry. Take a belt. Tie it up for the next half hour. We finished early tonight. I'm busy. Okay. I don't care. Whatever it takes. Don't unbuckle. Otherwise, we resort to Linji style. Okay? So, we have a concept in Mahayana of mark. Pay attention. Mark is what you can observe. Okay? The mark of happiness, the mark of anger, the mark of hunger, the mark of tiredness, dark circles underneath your eyes have been reported to me. Some of you practitioners somehow didn't sleep for a few days at all, so now there's dark circles underneath your eyes. Oh, never mind. Okay, so those marks are things you can observe. You can hear, you can smell, you can see, yeah? Okay, you can imagine. All those are marks. Yes? So that's a Mahayana concept. So he talked about you need to get the marks of others, the mark of yourself, mark of man, mark of woman. Okay? Continue.
是相非相，有相无相，还要离开。
The mark of right, the mark of wrong, the mark of existence, and the mark of absence, you need to get rid of them all.
No, I missed this slide. Maybe it's the mark. Itself. Or, and, of course, you Chinese don't understand. Or, and, the lack of mark. Mean no mark. Okay? This is Mahayana. You guys say, so I throw away everything. The mark of right, the mark of wrong. Okay? So there's still a problem. You still have a notion of a mark, or a notion of no mark, or lack of mark. Okay? That's the difference. In Mahayana, we throw away in your training. In your Chan training, you learn to recognize the mark of others. What's the mark of others? What's the mark of others? Republicans. Vietnamese. Right? That's the mark of others. Non-Buddhists. That's the mark of others. Is it clear? So you keep on saying, I'm Buddhist. I don't like non-Buddhists. That's the mark of others. Yes? I'm Democrat. I don't like Republicans. That's a mark of others. Even though you damn right, excuse my language, you still have a mark of others. What is that called? You're right, but you're stupid. You're right, but you have no wisdom. You're right, but you have no samadhi. Have some COVID. You get it? So what do you want? I know most of you smart people, believers, says, I prefer to be right. I'd rather be right and dead than be alive and wrong. Isn't it sad? There's some people who says, I'm right, you're wrong. Okay? You're so wrong, I'm so right. I hate you. You. And then what? Because you're right, you have no chance to develop wisdom. You think you're right. How does it help you? When a stupid person thinks he's right, that right, is it any different from a smart person who thinks he's right? No, they're both stupid. They both have no wisdom. You take a needle, give him a needle, and you stick it under your fingernail. I assure you, the leg pain will disappear immediately. Are you a man or not? See, here you go. Take it. Give him a belt. Do not let him unbuckle. And he unbuckles, beat him up, punch him, puncture his tires. That's Linji training. Okay? So that's a problem. You have a mark of right. You're so right. And similarly, because you're so right, Master is so wrong. And what happens? Master is wrong, but Master has wisdom. You're right, but you're so goddamn stupid. How does it help you? Why are you here? To be right or to open your wisdom? The mark itself, if you can't handle right and wrong, you can handle the mark of man, the mark of woman, the mark of others, you mark of self. There's no point talking about the mark itself and the lack of mark, or no mark. This is a level that's you're not even there. This is a level of the sound hearers. Below that, that's your level. You idiots. Okay? You have to struggle with the mark of self, mark of others, mark of right, mark of wrong, man, woman, and so forth. Okay? You need to get rid of them all. Okay, moving on.
你离开有相无相，才能入定。
You need to get rid of mark and even no mark to enter samadhi.
I wouldn't like to explain it this way, but that's his Chinese style. Okay? Let me make it clearer for you. Should I? God or Buddha? Yeah, lean back. Can you lean back a little bit? See? Lean back a little bit more. You know how ridiculous you look? That's got to hurt more than the pain itself. No, it doesn't. No, you don't understand. We never look at you the same way anymore. You know, we're going to look at you and say, he's a guy who can't handle the pain. And we all saw how he chickened out and unbuckled. Think about it. Just think about that. Huh? There's so many witnesses of your chickenness. Yes, Drew Mountain.
Jewel Mountain says it is very entertaining. He can have a competition with Chongho Sanim.
You can see him? Okay. All right. Here's what I would say, because Master YongHua, unfortunately, for those people back there or his disciples, I'm going to cut through the chase and help you understand. Because many of you are beyond this already, but I need you to understand how to explain this. Okay? When he says you need to get rid of mark and no mark, this to enter samadhi, this refers to the samadhi of the enlightened people. Before that, you get rid of the mark of wrong, of right, of man and woman, will help you enter the samadhi of the Hinayana. That is possible. But from Hinayana to Mahayana, this is a difference. You see, this is why the Chinese teaching is so subtle. It's not for you. You see? And so that's why I'm trying to save you time, because some of you are beyond this already. So this is why the Hinayana cannot understand this notion of mark. I just proved my case why the Hinayana would not have this teaching. They don't understand it. You have to go beyond that in order to go into our Mahayana world. And this is what he meant by that. Okay? Okay, next.
You 单能离开有相，不能离开无相，那还是不能入定。
See? Yeah.
If you can only get rid of mark, but you cannot get rid of no mark, then you still cannot enter Samadhi.
Exactly. I know those you folks don't understand what he means, but I'm pointing out to you who are in a position where you should be able to understand this. This is the difference between Hinayana and Mahayana. And there's a difference between Hinayana Mahayana and Mahayana Mahayana. I keep on using those terms. The Hinayana Mahayana, okay, they get there, they get into the Mahayana range, but they still don't understand how to explain the marks and no marks and all those things. And that's why they cannot train people. Okay? They got there for whatever the reasons, like, the Tiger Woods and Warren Buffett, whatever, There's a systematic training, they get there, but they don't quite understand how they get there. Okay? They get there because of the good known advisors' guidance. They still don't understand yet. And the good known advisors look and say, oh, yeah. Okay, that's why. But they themselves don't understand. That's why I call them Hinayana Mahayana. Do you get it? This is very advanced teaching. And you guys, it's just very simple, words like this, but contains a secret teaching in Wei-Yang. Unless I point it out to you, Hinayana, Mahayana, have no clues. Beat them up. Go on.
你虽然说是无相，你还有一个无相存在。
Although you said there is no mark, there still exists a mark of no mark.
Okay, YouTube question.
Brady asks, Master, can you explain how to get rid of no marks?
After you get to a sound hearer level and you undergo more training, okay, a lot more training, then I teach you how to get rid of no mark. It's not that easy, my friend. That's why between the Hinayana sound hearer versus Mahayana, there's even a lot further to go, a lot more. Okay, it's not meant to be explained. I assure you that the academics would stay away from this because they don't know what we're talking about, and certainly the Hinayana people would have no clues themselves, and the Hinayana Mahayana would not dare to try to touch this because they cannot explain this. Yes.
Master, when I first came to Way Mountain Temple, I had been to different, churches. I hadn't been to any Buddhist temples, but I've been to different churches. And what really struck me with this temple was that I felt that there was less. It was much lighter, as in there was kind of, it was, like the Christians, they're very deep into love and stuff, and it's a heavier type of energy, and I felt the energy here was lighter, and I was very attracted to that, and I feel like that has something to do with the no mark that you were practicing here.
Yeah. Well, let me explain to you. Let's backtrack a little bit. Now you blew it. Let me explain to you why. Endure what can't be endured. That's what the training is about. During this training process, you'll be faced with something that is so difficult to endure. It starts first with the leg pain, and then it morphs into something else. That's the training. So far, so good. And if you can do that and you can progress through your training naturally, your energy becomes lighter and not as ikia as before. When you meet people and when you don't feel comfortable, it's because what? Those people are greedy. They are angry. Okay? Particularly greedy. When you're near people and they're scheming to try to get something out of you, okay? That energy is very unpleasant. You know, I'm positioning myself, preparing myself, engaging you so that I can ask for more donations from you. So this maneuvering here is very unpleasant to you. You know, it's your Buddha nature. He gets offended. He says, I can't put my fingers on this, but I'm not comfortable around these people. Greed. That's why in our environment, different is that we deprive our people of everything. They just get by with the minimum so that they can't say that, I want more of this. Okay? 1 meal a day. Okay? So you eat all you can in 1 meal. You cannot say, let me save it for dinner. So let's greet right there for the 3rd meal. See that? The training is right there. You eat a lot and you're full and everything, that's okay. But then, yes, there's greed in there. But at least you get rid of the greed of asking or hoping or looking forward or planning or scheming for that dinner thing. Less greed. See that? So far, so good? Now, what about the pain? That's so unbearable. What kind of training is that? Yes?
To rid you of self-indulgence.
I haven't thought of that. That's a good point. So much theory. Oh. So, let me emphasize this point again for you. Imagine that you have wisdom. And people come near you, scheming. Not just you, I'm talking to people with wisdom now. You can see every move they're making. They're scheming this, they're scheming that. They smile sweetly at you. They say, oh Master, I am your devoted disciple. I worship you. I put you on a pedestal. Imagine how much ickier the energy is compared to the way you sense. That's our suffering that you must endure. You only have to endure your own leg pains. It's nothing yet. One person after another, Master, not only for me, but I love my husband, my mother. I want to send her to the Pure Land. And my cousin, who has COVID-19. I don't recommend you become a monk if you can't handle the leg pains. It starts with us, it starts first with that. And then after that, we learn how to handle the ickiness of people. Okay? So we still are enduring what others cannot endure. Okay? And sometimes we lose our temper. We throw tantrums. Kick people out. That's no different from you unbuckling. You know that? It's no different. There's a parallel. At your level, you go, the pain's too much. No, I don't have to take this. This prejudice in your mind, it says, why am I doing this? Yes? You question yourself. It totally doesn't make sense. Are you listening? You're not paying attention, are you? I really get offended by that. See, I have to put up with that too. People don't pay attention when I'm trying to explain life to you. And that's part of the training, is to endure what cannot be endured. And then you quit because you can't take it anymore. You throw tantrums and, you embarrass yourself. Okay, everyone knows that you're a loser. But then what? You don't quit. Then it's Chan. You come back and try it again and again and again and again. And one day, boom, you break through. So it's not about that you cannot handle it. The training is about keep at it. What did I tell you? It's about if you're struggling, that is Chan. If you're not struggling, I don't know what that is. YouTube has a question.
Master, can Buddha nature get offended?
Mine does. That's why I find myself, being so angry and throwing tantrums at my disciples all the time. Okay? So when you say endure what others cannot endure, it takes training. It doesn't happen overnight. You keep enduring a little bit more each time. That's all you do. A little bit more, a little bit more. And one day you have a breakthrough naturally. That's all. So this Chan practice is not supposed to look pretty. It's not easy. Because you fail. You practice in bearing your own failures and looking at your own failures. It's embarrassing because others broke through and you haven't yet. And they laugh behind your back. And you keep on insisting sitting in front. Most people will sit in the back. When you unbuckle, you sit in the back, no one notices. Okay, continue, please.
"这就没有到那个解脱的境界，你还有所指招。离开这个人相我相。
This is not the state of liberation. You still have attachments. Get rid of this mark of others, mark of self."
So he's, of course, he can only speak so much because at the time, his disciples, his students, the participants' level is low, so he couldn't go into the kind, of details that I elaborated for you, because your level is quite different. There is beginners, yours is not. Continue.
你没有我了，要有个人，那也是没有离开；你没有人了，还有个我，也是没有离开。
If you don't have the mark of self, but still have the mark of others, then you haven't left behind the mark of others. If you don't have the mark of others, but still have the mark of self, then you haven't left behind the mark of self.
所以人相我相都要离开。
So, the mark of others, the mark of self, all those need to leave behind.
男相女相，也不知道有男相，也不知道有女相。
The mark of man, the mark of woman. You also don't know the mark of man. You also don't know the mark of woman.
You see, this used to drive me crazy. Okay. This is a theory. Just like Brady asked me earlier, how do I get rid of no mark? Okay. He could have said, how do I get rid of the mark of man? Somebody give him some help. No, I'm just mocking him, that's all. See, it's called suffering on top of suffering. No, are you suffering? But we're laughing at your suffering. Okay. So it used to drive me crazy. How do I get rid of this mark of man? How do I get rid of this mark of woman? Can you be more specific, please? So anyway, in honor of Master YongHua, I won't explain it to you either. Blame it on him.
既然没有男相女相，那么这种欲性也没有。
Since there is no mark of man, no mark of woman, then such a desiring mind is not there anymore.
欲心没有了，这才是清净的本源，妙真如性。
The desiring mind is not there anymore. This is the clear and pure, original, wondrous, true suchness nature.
你清净本源，妙真如性，
Dishes.
所以也没有一个事相啦，也没有一个非相。
We don't want to miss a single second of this. You're cruel. You like this too much. Yes, go on.
Your clear and pure, original, wondrous, true suchness nature. So, there is no mark of right, and there is no mark of wrong.
是非二相了不可得。咱们能以一切相即一切法，就是一切法。
The two marks of right and wrong cannot be obtained. Then, leave all marks behind. That is all dharmas. Is all dharmas.
你要不能离开一切相，就与一切法不相应。所以啊，修道的人不要越修只着越大。
If you cannot leave all marks behind, then you are not corresponding with all dharmas. So, for us cultivators, it should not be the more the cultivation, the more the attachments.
Okay, you're not in a court. In a court. Not corresponding with all dharmas. Okay? Yeah, meaning that when you still have marks, you still are attached to marks, then you are unable to relate to the true marks. Okay? So whatever you do is actually not appropriate for that particular situation. So it's because it's lack of wisdom. You're not according with the dharmas, according with the times, according with the conditions. Okay? That's what it means. You're not acting out of wisdom. That's why your solution has flaws, serious flaws. Okay? So that's why the more you practice, the more your wisdom unfolds, actually your people's skill improve, your relationships improve as well, naturally. Because you are able to better accord with more and more conditions, with more and more people. You're not as afflicted as often. Okay? All right.
人相也离不开，我相也离不开，有相也离不开，无相也离不开。
Cannot leave the mark of others behind, cannot leave the mark of self behind, cannot leave marks behind, cannot leave no marks behind.
男相也离不开，女相也离不开，这就知道越
Cannot leave the mark of men behind, cannot leave the mark of woman behind. You are attached.
知道越深，越知道越重，知道来，知道去，得不到解脱。
The more attached you are, the deeper it becomes. The more attached you are, the heavier it becomes.
Stop. Okay. Go ahead. Finish the English, please.
Attached here and there, and cannot attain liberation.
Okay, old monk, make a comment. I'm training him to speak Dharma on the fly.
Mình chấp trước tức là mình trong cái đầu cái tâm mình nó còn giữ một cái hình ảnh, một cái ý nghĩ gì đó, không có trống. Dù tốt hay xấu gì giữ đó là không có trống.
You are attached because in your mind you still have an image or a thought, and your mind is not empty.
You're not helping. You can't speak Dharma like that. He's giving you a principle of attachment here. He says, the more attached you are, the deeper the attachment grows, the stronger it grows. The more attachment, the heavier the attachment becomes. You attach here and there, and therefore, the more you just have one attachment, it has a way of growing. And that's why you cannot attain liberation. The point here he's making, and unfortunately, it's not that clear in Chinese either. Okay? In English, we would have said, you have one attachment. Let's say, and this is when you understand it like that, then what you do is you give examples instead of giving more theories. You understand? See, if this is how you read it, then I ask you to speak Dharma, then you say, what I just said. Okay? And then you say, for example, I'm attached to eating, what did we have for lunch today? Cantonese noodles. Today we have Cantonese noodle. Okay? And it's very good, especially for people who have no teeth. It's very soft. See? So you speak Dharma, it has to be specific, something, an example, because you don't want to keep on throwing theories. This is what happened. The monks who don't understand this will keep on throwing more theories on top of theories on top of theories so that you all get lost and you can't ask more questions. Here's you avoid doing that, and you guys have to pay attention. You understand, you really understand principles. Then you give examples. You say, for example, today I had lunch, and I like this Cantonese noodle, and therefore, clearly I'm attached to noodles. Okay? Once the attachment to noodles, then what happened to me? I like the noodles, so now what happened at lunch? What food did you become more attached to? You remember? Which one? You show an example, you tell an example, I like the noodle, and then it feels good, and then and all of a sudden, I want to, what? Eat what?
Sau khi ăn noodle rồi thì con thích ăn cái bánh ngọt để tráng miệng.
I rest my case.
After I eat noodle, then I want to eat sweet cake for dessert.
See, you have one attachment to noodles, it grows into attachment to cakes. And then it grows, and then it grows. That's what he's trying to tell you. Of course, you don't have this problem, right? Only he has this problem. You see how one attachment grows. It's not just one, it grows into 2, into 4, into 8, into 16, to 32, and so forth. Yes, Orange.
Mô Phật bạch thầy, con muốn nói một cái mà không có thấy tướng nam, không có thấy tướng nữ đó thầy. Thì con có nghe một khúc chuyện đó, thầy vì một vị thiền sư á, thầy thiền xong rồi đó, thầy cái ông đó ông cưới người vợ rất là đẹp. Thầy từ sáng đi tới chiều, thầy ông đi kiếm hoài. Thầy ông thấy ông thiền sư á, ngồi chỗ đó, thiền sư, ông sớm mơ tới giờ thấy một người đàn bà đi ngang qua bên đây không? Thầy ông thiền sư nói tôi không có thấy ai hết trơn á. Chỉ sớm mơ tới giờ tôi ngồi đây tôi thấy những cái hài cốt đó, những cái tướng con người đó, những cái tướng cốt nó đi qua thôi, thấy những cái không biết tiếng Tàu nói làm sao mình cũng thấy những cái hài cái tướng con người ta, không có thấy cái tướng,
thấy cái
bộ xương
thôi.
Mô Phật á, thầy là ông thiền sư đó thầy. Bởi vì hồi nãy thầy nói ngài Hòa Thượng Tiên Hóa đó, không có thấy tướng nam tướng nữ đó, là mình nghĩ chỗ đó không biết phải không thầy khai thị giùm thầy. Mô Phật.
Master, when talking about no mark of man and no mark of woman, I remember there's a story about a Chan master. He was meditating, and then there's a man, he has a very beautiful wife. He was looking for his wife the whole day, and then he passed by the Chan master and he asked, Master, do you see any woman passing by? And the Chan master replied, I don't see anybody, I only see the skeleton passing by. So does that mean the story is similar to what Master YongHua mentioned about no mark of man, no mark of woman?
Comments. It's very good, very funny. Ha 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 ha. Question, comments, criticism. So this monk here, he probably saw that man's beautiful wife walk by, and he saw a skeleton moving. Comments, question. This is now the time, internet, to light up the switchboard. Yeah? Comments. Yes. Pink.
He must have had spiritual penetrations.
Must have spiritual penetration to see skeletons. No, X-ray vision. Okay, what else? Any other comments? Come on, folks, it's so obvious right here. You believe everything that woman tells you? Huh? How can you see a person and that person becomes a skeleton? This guy's weird. What's wrong with this guy? Really? So he looks at you and he sees a skeleton? Must be a very lonely man. Maybe that's why he became a monk. Yes, Orange.
Mô Phật, con nghe con cũng thắc mắc hoài mà con tìm mấy năm mà tìm không ra. Bây giờ thầy thiết một cái con nghĩ một cái là đúng rồi, không có cái tướng, chỉ thấy bộ xương không. Là ông thiền sư này ông nhìn vô ai nào cũng là có bộ xương không, không có thấy tướng nam tướng nữ. Mô Phật.
Wondering about this one, and I really don't understand about this story, but now just one sentence from you, I suddenly understand, and then I find out, oh, so there's no mark. He only sees skeleton, that's why there's no mark of man, no mark of woman.
No, that's not what he said. He said it bothered her too, about this monk. Okay? She says, it bothered me too, the story. How come this guy only sees skeleton? And Master said, there's something wrong with him. And a light bulb went off in her head and said, oh yeah, there's something wrong with this guy, definitely. That's what bothered her all these years. Yeah. YouTube answer.
Mary Jo says, it sounds like he's saying that he's seeing a skeleton to deflect noticing this beautiful woman.
That's too deep for me. And the story, I sort of wonder, is that monk Chinese, Indian, Japanese? Most likely Japanese or Taiwanese. They talk like that. And talk, it's just a skeleton. Are you kidding me? What's wrong with you? How can there be a skeleton? Don't you find it weird that you have eyes, you look at a person, you see only a skeleton? Oh, what's wrong with this with this guy? Okay? Isn't that gross? It crosses your mind, but no one dare say anything. It's so gross, it's so icky. Now, his reputation is getting worse by the minute.
Master, clearly we didn't see skeleton at all, because skeleton, you will not see like the vomit or ichia or anything.
There's something wrong with him. He only sees skeletons, something wrong with him. Okay? Listen, if your eyes, you cannot see a person as a skeleton, that's not normal. Right? Number two, if you have a heavenly eye, you have all the spiritual eyes, you're not going to see it as skeleton either. Doesn't work like that. So let me tell you, this monk here is BSing. And he's simply saying something strange to impress you. For us people in the know, we know that it's not possible. Your eyes cannot see skeleton. Your heavenly eye and the other eyes cannot see. A skeleton would not see a skeleton either. There's something wrong, twisted here, that's so wrong up here. Or he's BSing. Okay? Don't believe it. He's BSing you. Who told you the story? Master YongHua? Q, you go ahead. Baloney, there's no such a thing. Go ahead, Q.
I was just saying that he seems to be very attached to the mark of skeleton or an X-ray machine.
Absolutely, this guy's an idiot. He's so obsessed with skeletons, not attached. He's obsessed with skeletons. He probably, had a very difficult childhood. Grew up in a cemetery, or in a abattoir. You know what abattoir is? Slaughterhouse. All he sees is skeletons. Okay. You're expelling toxins. That's what happened. Okay? You have some problems there. And you push it out. It's a healthy thing. It's gross like hell. It's to us. But it's very good for you. Lucky we have no mark of growth. Okay? I don't know, I don't remember the Shrangama Sutra mentioning that example, but to me, I don't like this monk. I would advise you disciples to stay away from this monk. He's something wrong. You don't speak Dharma like that. What's the proper way to speak it? He said, it's much cleaner for him to say, I'm sorry, I don't see any beautiful woman. Or not beautiful woman. That would be more useful to that man who's so attached to his wife. But to say that I only see her as a skeleton, if she even passed by, it's insulting to him and to her. How does it help? It doesn't accord with the proper Dharma to say that. I'm sorry. It's wrong to say that. YouTube answer.
Zentian says he contemplates on the impurity of the body.
I'm speechless. How does it help that man? He's only helping himself. It's so Hinayana. I know, she's so impure. I know she's not real. She's but a skeleton to me. How does it help him? Huh? It's so Hinayana. Yes. IKEA person.
It sounds like he's just making stuff up.
What?
Sounds like he's just making stuff up.
It's BS. He says, I'm better than you, I'm spiritual than you. I see it as a skeleton. Come on, cut it out. My wife is so beautiful, and look at her as a skeleton. There's something wrong with you. Really, serious. Go on. We're trying to
得
finish
不到
this.
解脱，你就不能开悟了。
cannot attain liberation, then you cannot become enlightened.
Okay, suppose he says, I see it as skeleton. Right here, he's so attached to skeleton. Agree or disagree? Right here. If he sees skeleton, he's very attached to skeleton because he sees skeletons everywhere. Something's wrong with this guy. He's so attached. Next.
所以用功的人呢，自己要回光返照一下，问问自己。
So, the ones who are applying effort need to return the light to illuminate inward and ask yourself,
我做了2个禅期了，我这个执照心还有多少呢？我这个人我的相还有多少呢？
I sit 2 chantis already. How much of these attachments do I still have in my mind? How much mark of self and others do I still have?
Got it? You see the point? That's what happened to that guy. He sits there assuming he sees skeletons. For some reason, he sees skeletons. Yes? And he tells people, you know, Andres, I see you as a skeleton. Yeah, Pink? You disagree?
No, I say you see a skeleton and you can't see my Buddha nature.
Touche, yeah. I see you as a skeleton. And I see her as a skeleton. I see her as a skeleton. I don't see any tantrum. I see only skeletons. You know?